Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we're going to give infinite praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, the honor to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. Peace and blessings to the Lord's elect, throughout the 144,000. All right, we're a couple of brothers from the Great Millstone, San Francisco Bay Area camp. I'm the brother Walker Bar.
I'm brother Yatabi Walla.
We just come together through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. All right, to go into a lesson on the topic of faith. All right, the spirit, the Lord put the spirit on the brother. You know, you could get a title.
Yep. What does we say? So first comes faith and then works follow.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Basically based off a thing I seen on, I think it was YouTube, but these Christians, you know, they were talking about how, you know, Apostle Paul, you know, he teaches basically a salvation by faith, right? And then they were trying to mention a contradiction by James, who was talking about works. But not understanding, they go hand in hand, right? Well, James breaks it down. And Apostle Paul, it's just, that's how it starts out. His ministry was what? To the Gentiles, right?
Yep.
So you have to start with faith, right? You have to bring that faith first, and then what? The works follow. It goes hand in hand, right?
Yeah, because being a Gentile, like, we were in a Gentile state of mind. We knew not what it took to please the Lord.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? First, you have to be, you know, grafted in through faith.
Yep.
You know? And I got this for you, starting Hebrews 11:1.
That's it.
It says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen.
Yep. Evidence of things not seen, right? So, you know, we haven't necessarily seen these things, right? We haven't seen Yahweh Bashem Yahushai in the flesh, at least not on this side, not right now, right? Not in this incarnation, if you will, right? We haven't seen the kingdom, but we believe what's told, right? We haven't seen a salvation yet,
right?
But we believe what's told,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's where it starts. You have to believe that. You know, here it is again. You know, Apostle Paul was going to the Gentiles. He was telling them that they were able to come back, right? They were able to come back. They were through the lineage of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and even though they were, you know, pushed out hundreds, you know, whatever, how many years prior, you know, you go even to now, how many different, you know, captivities have we had? And, you know, we've all fell off. The scripture says, you know, we are all Gentiles, right? But you had to hear it, you know, you have to hear that promise and that able to be able to come back, right? And it started with Yahweh Shai. Mm-hmm. And then what? Oh, you know, okay, now I have a way back in. All right, and then you learn more about the Lord. You learn what pleases the Lord, right? You relearn the word, which was already in you at one point, right?
Right. Yep. Romans 10:13. I'll go back to Hebrews 11.
Mm-hmm.
It says, "For whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved." Yeah, and you know, you got a lot of people who come up against us saying we don't have the Paleo Hebrew. How do we know that's the true name?
Yep.
You know what? Well, it's all through faith.
That's it.
Okay. Hey, and this name, the name is powerful. Mm-hmm. You call upon that name in faith, things happen. You know, the Lord, we be brought into situations and we go through things to where we just call on the Lord and He comes through right in the nick of time.
Yep.
You know, but that's why Apostle Gabar says this thing of ours. All right, this is only for the faithful. This thing is truly only for the elect. And we just call ourselves the hopeful elect because you have to be humble too.
Mm-hmm.
It says, "For whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved." Hey, salvation is only open to the Israelites. Okay? How then shall they call on Him in whom they have not believed? Okay? Because you got, like the IUIC. They don't believe in the name, you know? So who they going to call on in that time? Christ, who has never done nothing for us? You know? But those who truly believe upon Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, constantly utter that name, you know? Constantly bless that true, holy, powerful name. All right? It says, "And how shall they believe in Him of whom they have not heard?" All right? And the Most High set up pastors according to His heart. Okay? Whether you believe it or not. It's a faith thing. We truly believe the apostles and elders, all right, are the men of the Lord.
Yep.
All right? And we believe them for the very work's sake. Look at the works they put in.
Yep.
You know?
Well, you know, like you said, well, the scriptures, right? There's certain guidelines of what would happen. You go into prophecy, right? You know, the whole 12 tribes, where does that come from? Mm-hmm. You know, the name, where does that come from, right? It comes from the scriptures. Being able to call upon the Lord in the Paleo Hebrew. Being able to understand who the 12 tribes are, right? Well, Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, You have to believe that. That's in the scriptures. The scriptures say that's the breakdown, right? Or if you don't believe from our apostles and elders to break it down, somebody has to be breaking it down, right? Because the scriptures say the Lord gives us pastors. So, yeah, okay, you don't want to believe what the apostles and elders are saying, but hey, somebody has to be saying, but who's breaking down the 12 tribes, right? Who's calling upon the names in the Paleo-Hebrew? Who's going back to the Paleo-Hebrew, right? Who's teaching, well, like we were going into for class, who's teaching the ministry of reconciliation, right? Who actually is teaching the meaning of what reconciliation means?
Right.
Who went off, you know? So all these things are in the scriptures, but again, it has to be broken down the correct way, and ultimately what? You have to believe on it.
Yep, I got a quick one for you.
Yep.
And I'll go back to that Romans 10. It says, Zephaniah 3:9. For then will I turn to the people a pure language.
Yep.
The Lashon Kodash.
Lashon Kodash.
It's a fulfillment of prophecy for the Lord to give us the holy tongue back.
Mm-hmm.
For then, it says, for then will I turn to the people a pure language, that they may all call upon the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai to serve him with one consent.
Yep. So right there, that's the prophecy, right? So that's proof. Okay, and again, you have the apostles and elders breaking it down, and we go into these things, and we're breaking it down by way of prophecy, right? We have that measuring stick. Mm-hmm. Now, okay, you don't want to believe us, that's fine, but who else is breaking it down? Right? This is an actual prophecy to happen in the future.
Well, everybody who tries to debunk it, who goes against it, they'll say this is not what it is. They'll say what it ain't, but they can't tell us what it is.
Exactly.
You know, where do the tiny tops? All right, where's that fulfillment of Ezekiel the 32nd chapter?
Exactly.
You know, they call the power Shem, which just means name. Mm-hmm. You know, back in Romans 10.
Yeah, you know the 12 tribes, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, everybody's and it's not the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Then who is it? Right? Break down the 12 tribes. Can you do that?
Yeah. Go into Genesis 49, the 49th chapter. All right. And it's through faith, but there's actual evidence out there.
Yeah.
Esau know the elites. They know.
Yep.
You know, because Esau, he's a carnal man. He searched things out. Okay? But see, this thing of ours is a faith. Mm-hmm. All right? We'll get it too, because it tells you in Romans the 14th chapter. Let's get it right now. Romans 14 and 23.
Yep. You said Romans 14? Yep. Mm-hmm. 23?
Right.
It says Romans 14 and 23. It says, and he that doubteth is damned if he eat.
Yeah, you're not supposed to eat of the roll with doubt. All right, see the ingredient that defiles the meal. Yahweh Shai, who comes in the volume of the book, he's the meal. The ingredient that defiles it is doubt. All right. The ingredient that makes it nurturing and to nurture you and to build you up is faith. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
It says, and he that doubteth is damned if he eat.
Yeah, so you reading this, all right, you eating of it with doubt, like the Hasidon, they say they never really believe. All right, so they were condemned. They were already condemned. Go ahead.
It says, because he eateth not of faith.
Yeah, he eateth not with faith. You got to eat of this thing with faith and be fully persuaded in your own mind.
Yep.
Go ahead.
It says, for whatsoever is not of faith is sin.
For whatsoever is not of faith is sin. Mm-hmm. So whatever you do, like that guys talk laws or statutes or commandments, all right, they'll turn right around. This is facts. I'm not making this up. Talking about the IUIC, that's what the laws, the statutes, the commandments. And turn right around and turn right around, try to clown us for being faith-based Israelites. Yeah. Thinking that's a scoff or that's a put down towards us. That's actually one of the highest compliments that you could give. Mm-hmm. You know, y'all faith-based Israelites. Yeah. Okay, Yahweh Shai is the foundation. All right. Hey, and you have to believe upon him who comes in the volume of the book. All right. What did it say in Luke the 18th chapter? When the Son of Man returneth, shall he find faith in the earth? Yep. And that's pretty much a rhetorical question. Yep. All right. Because the elect are going to be found with faith. How are we going to walk in the time to come? Okay. How are we going to walk in the time to come? Through resisting the MOTB. Yeah. All right. Through being ostracized and, you know what I mean, and on the run. Mm-hmm. All right. We're going to walk by faith, not by sight. Yeah. Not by being carnal.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing, right? Because the scriptures, right, in Revelation 13 chapter, doesn't exactly say, it's the microchip, right? Mm-hmm. But, through the Spirit, you can break it down, right? Mm-hmm. the charagma, the karax, the grapho, and then what? So now, knowing what it is, you have faith. Okay, I know not to take that.
Right.
But now, if you don't know what it is, then you're shit out of luck, right?
Yeah.
As they say.
Right. Like you had them. I think the guys was Bow. It was like, man, you don't have to know what it is. You just if you're the elect, you're not gonna take it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nah, bro, you gotta know what it is to not take it.
Exactly. Well, yeah, because there's some groups that are actually telling you that you can take it. Because they tell you what, it's not the mark of the beast.
Yeah. Yeah, well, ISUPK recently said that the MOTB is a seafood broil.
Damn.
You know, the seafood broil where, seafood broil is where you got our people that come out of, they really come out of the South, but they take a plastic bag and they pour crawdads in there, they pour shrimp in there, crab legs, pork sausage, and potatoes in there, and they shake it up and you just eat. You eat of abomination bag. That's not the MOTB. How can you buy and sell with that? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I got my bag.
Yeah. I
got
my seafood boil bag. I got this crawdad. Hey, what can I exchange for this? No. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And furthermore, even in time now, all right, which the apostles were even speaking about it before the vision was speaking. See, now the vision is actually speaking. All right, which goes into Ezekiel, the 33rd chapter. When this cometh to pass, lo, it will come. Then shall they know that a prophet have been amongst them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but it was all spoken through faith.
Yep.
Yeah, somewhere.
I'll finish it off. It says, for whatsoever is not of faith is sin.
Whatsoever not of faith is sin. All right, so you can be saying you're keeping the law, which no one can keep the law, statutes, and commandments. As Yahushua kept them in this same empire.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Yahushua was the only one. All right, let's say you were able to do that, and you're not doing it in faith, then it doesn't count anyway.
Exactly.
It's null and void.
Oh. Yep.
You got something you want to hit?
You can continue on that.
Yeah, back in Romans 10 and 14, how then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard?
Yep.
Israel has heard.
Yeah.
The word has went out. Well, get that in Hebrews 4. The gospel was preached. Is it Hebrews 4? It was preached unto us as well as unto them.
Yeah.
Let me see. I think it's Hebrews. Let me see. Hebrews 4. You can start from 1. Start at 1.
Yep. Hebrews 4 and verse 1. It says, "Let us therefore fear."
Yep, fear. Okay. And what does it mean to fear the Lord? To apply the laws to the best of your ability, right?
Mm-hmm.
The beginning of knowledge, the beginning of knowledge, all right, knowing Yahweh Shem Yahushai is to know to fear him.
Yeah.
All right, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Before is despise wisdom and instruction.
Well, yeah, so that goes hand in hand as well, too, because you have faith and fear and works. It all goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have fear, you're not going to do what he says. Exactly.
Yeah. But are you gonna believe a power? Are you gonna fear a power that you don't believe in? You're not.
Exactly.
If you don't believe that he is, you're not gonna fear him. Hebrews 4.
Oh yes, look. It says, "Let us therefore fear, lest the promise being left us of entering into his rest."
Yeah, and that's what we laboring for, to enter into his rest. There's a promise. All right, there's a promise of rest. Hey, for the Israelites, starting with the elect, but you gotta labor to enter into that rest.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and we believe.
Yeah.
Do we see the place prepared? Look at the earth now. You can ask actual Jake. Can the earth be restored? Can the earth be what we say it's gonna be?
Mm-mm. Not with Esau ruling.
Yeah, not with Esau ruling, but through faith. All right, us believing in the scriptures. In the scriptures. Well, Matthew the 6th chapter. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. We believe that. We believe this planet right here is going to return to being Idon. It's hell right now, but we truly believe, all right, through the word, we have faith in this place being restored, man, and being made a paradise. Okay, all right, according to 2 Peter the 3rd chapter, all right, a new world, a new kingdom wherein dwelleth righteousness.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
It says, of entering into his rest, any of you should seem to come short of it.
Yeah, hey, and this is not the time to be weary.
Mm-hmm.
All right, because you're gonna see many men gonna fall short, gonna miss the mark. Gonna get burnt out.
Yep.
And it really comes through, you not being part of the elect first and foremost. You know, it really comes because you're not part of the elect. The elect not gonna get up. They're not gonna become weary. All right, but that really is gonna come through you hastening above the highest. All right, you coming to this thing. You think that, hey man, America's gonna be destroyed in 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we all thought that, but then you like, man, I'm in it for the long haul.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's why the scriptures speak about returning to your first love.
Yep.
All right, we're not on our own time. We're on the Heavenly Father's time.
And it takes faith to believe that there's a reward.
Yeah.
Right, for doing this work, which the Lord promised it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, the Most High is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love,
Mm-hmm.
which you have shown towards the saints that you have ministered and do minister.
Mm-hmm.
Your work. All right, but the work is done in faith. Go ahead.
Yep. It says, any of you should seem to come short of it.
Mm-hmm.
For unto us was the gospel preached,
Yep.
as well as unto them.
Yep. That's a fulfillment of Matthew 24:14. All that Israel has heard is going to go back into it in Romans the 10th chapter. All right, so the gospel is preached to us as well as unto them. All right, no matter how you received it. Did you come across the prophets on the highways and hedges? Did you come across the prophets on the internet? All right, were you a friend or a relative of the prophet? That's how you heard it. Do you hear that your cousin who had a zeal, he within his first year find out he an Israelite? All right, he at the family reunion, you know, cursing your family out for eating abomination. So we the Israelites, pulling his beard out, no hairline, looking crazy. All right, because hey, you know, everybody knows somebody who an Israelite. All right, point being, everybody has heard.
Mm-hmm.
Via what way? Through what way? You know what I mean? The Lord has many ways, you know, to reach out his hand and pour out this information.
Yep. And that's where it starts, right? It starts by hearing.
Yeah.
Which is going to go into it and understand.
Yeah.
But then what? Right after you hear, then what?
Mm-hmm.
What comes next? But
application, applying.
Yep. It says, verse 2 again, Hebrews 4:2. For unto us was the gospel preached,
Mm-hmm.
as well as unto them, but the word preached did not profit them,
Yeah, it doesn't profit, Jake. Go ahead.
not being mixed with faith in them that heard it.
Going back to what I said, it's the key ingredient. You all right? So it doesn't profit them because them hearing the word and not being able to receive it through faith, it doesn't profit them. Like what Jake said, I don't want to be woke and broke for. All right? They want to do, they into tangible things, you know, trying to get things in this kingdom. Well, us, you know, we store our riches in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
All right? And that's faith. It takes faith to do that. All right? Because what is faith? The substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen.
Mm-hmm.
All right, if you grind and work here, there's an app. You can always check your stocks. There's an app. You can always check your bank account. You can always check transactions. All right? The scriptures speak about watching for riches, man, causes man to lose sleep, but you can always keep track and stay on task with your bank account.
Mm-hmm.
All right? And we received a penny, all right, our talent to double it, but we don't know what our spiritual bank account looks like. You know? But we're going to keep running it up through the spirit of power, Yahweh Shem Shai, working overtime.
Yeah.
You know? And in due time, hey, we're going to receive a reward if we faint not. That was it on that?
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Okay. Yep, so it didn't profit them because it wasn't mixed with faith. Back in Romans 10:14, it says, how then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher?
Yeah, so the Lord has set up preachers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which was what? A teacher. The Lord has set up the apostles and elders on down in this time to send out that word, because that's how it starts. You got it, you got to hear it. All right? And then that action, those works follow. You got it?
Yep. Just a quick precept for you. Keep saying the Lord sent the apostles and elders. Let me see.
Yeah, you got to have a teacher,
Yeah.
right? You know, the Lord, he always speaks through his men. He hasn't switched it up, right? You've always had prophets that, you know, spoke for him. You always had his son, right?
Yep.
Yahushai, right? You had the apostles, the disciples of old. Now the same thing happens now.
Well, that's a good point. Yeah, the spirit moving. Let me hit this. You said his son, right? It's, he said the prophets have always been around. It's the book of Hebrews 1:1. The Most High, who at sundry times in diverse manners spake in time past unto the fathers by the prophets.
Yep, by the prophets, right? The Lord always uses a medium, so to speak, right? A mediator. He always uses someone to speak for him. He doesn't come down and just speak to everybody himself, right? Which that's all Jake wants. the Jake.
But they don't want that though.
Exactly.
They don't want that smoke.
Yeah, they want it, but what was it in at the Mount, right?
Yep.
They didn't want it.
No,
they
man.
wanted it, but then they didn't want it.
Yeah, but they see what it was. Like, no, Moses, you deal.
Yeah.
Moses, because they want the deal. Moses told them what to do the deal. And the Most High, before he could even clear his throat, they, Jake didn't want it. Verse 2 says, having the last day spoken unto us by his son.
Yep, and we're in the last days, right?
Yep.
It started 2,000 years ago, right? Go ahead.
But like 2 Corinthians, the 5th chapter, all right, we're in Hamashiach Yahushua stead. What did Paul say? We're ambassadors of Yahushua.
Yep.
So Yahushua did it in Rome, and we're doing it in Rome 2.0, being the body of Hamashiach Yahushua. So he's still speaking via his son.
Yep. And we have the same testimony, like it says in Revelation 19.
And we have 100% truth.
Yeah.
Yahushua had 100% truth. We have 100% truth. Here at Great Millstone. Who else boldly makes that statement? Who else proclaims that?
Yep. And that's what? By faith.
By faith. Yep. It says, having the last day spoken unto us by his son, whom he have appointed heir of all things, by whom also he made the world. In Romans the 8th chapter, if we suffer with him, we're going to be joint heirs together with him.
Yep.
All right, but it's all going back to the beginning. For whom he made the world. He made the world. Who did Yahushua make the world with? You don't have to believe it. All right. You go to the creation in the book of Genesis. All right, the Alahayim, man, those who lost their first estate. All right, the angels who lost their first estate. That's the 144,000. So hey, you know what I mean? The body of Yahushua was with Yahushua to form the worlds. But I'm gonna get that precept for you. 1 Corinthians 4:9. For I think that the Most High have set forth us, the apostles' last. It says, as it were appointed to death, for we are made a spectacle unto the world, and to angels, and to men.
Yep. So I mean, you had Christianity. That's been around thousands of years, right? Islam, hundreds of years, thousands, right? Hey, but the apostles are set last.
Yep.
All right. Well, the apostles been on the scene. Roughly, so Apostle Tar 4 years. Right? Couple decades. But now we're in the end. Hey, the MOTB's already here.
And it started with the elder Abba.
Yep.
He was sent and appointed by the Most High. But like the brother was saying, it came last. It came after Islam. Yep. It came after Christianity.
Well, even that was what, 1969,
1970.
So compared to Christianity, that's the last of the last.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. But back in Romans 10. In 14, one more time, it says, how then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher? And how shall they preach except they be sent? Which lines up with what I just read. The Most High sent forth the apostles last.
Yep.
As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace.
Now, again, this is what the scripture is saying, right? So the Lord has sent his men to preach, right? His men to teach. So if it's not the apostles and elders on down, who is it?
Who is it?
Right? Who's breaking it down? Who's going into the whole role, right? Everything. The so-called ugly of it too, right? You have people that don't like to hear about the great things, right? But that's truth. Who's going into that?
And who's pushing as much as Great Millstone?
Yeah. Yeah, the main thing being prophecy.
Pushing prophecy. It says, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace and bring glad tidings of good things, but they have not all obeyed the gospel. For Isaiah saith, Lord, who have believed our report? Who have believed our report? The majority of our people, and they always been infidels. That's why the scripture said, let the multitude perish then, no, not that one. Second is the 15th chapter. Let not the credulity of them that trouble that speak against you. You don't have to get it. But it says, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness.
Yep.
All right, which through the Spirit lines up with the book of Jude. Yep. The Most High, delivers out of the land of Egypt. Afterward, destroyed them that believe not.
Yep.
Got those same infidels back now.
Yep. Well, Romans the 3rd chapter, right?
Yep. What if some did not believe?
What if some did not believe? Right. Well, is the Lord not going to fulfill His promise? Right? Is the Lord just because you don't believe these are the men of the Lord teaching, does that mean that they're not men of the Lord? Right? Does that mean the prophecies aren't going to come to pass? It doesn't matter what you believe.
Does the Heavenly Father need the whole nation to believe For him to execute the judgment? For him
Nope.
to his word to be fulfilled?
Nope. What does it say? Romans the 11th chapter. The elect have obtained it, and the rest were blinded.
Yeah. Well, all it takes is for the according to Revelation the 7th chapter, all right, it's for the 12,000 to be sealed out of all 12 tribes.
Yep.
Don't say anything about the entire nation.
Exactly.
Okay? It says, but they have not all obeyed the gospel, for Isaiah said, Lord, who have believed our report?
Mm.
And why do the majority of our people can't believe Ephesians 2 and 8?
Yep.
Yep. That's why they can't believe, man. Cause I ain't gonna jump the gun. Go ahead.
Yep. Ephesians 2 and 8. It says, "For by grace are you saved through faith."
And grace is favor.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And why it says by grace are you saved through faith? All right. Go ahead.
It says, "And that not of yourselves, it is the gift of the Most High."
That's why it's favor, because it's a gift. All right. It's nothing that we stumbled upon ourselves. Unlike any of these other religions, these doofus, goofy ass religions. All right, you got to do something super stupid. All right, to try to get a connection to your power. You know, something stupid like that. No, it's faith.
Yeah.
Like you say, you heard it, and if it clicked with you.
Yep.
All right, you were moved through the spirit, and now you putting in the work.
That's it. Oh, you don't even have the ability to choose whether you want to believe it or not.
Right.
Really, we just read it. It says it's a gift. So, but the Lord has an order to it. You have to hear it first, right? You have to hear it, and then He gives you that ability to even believe in it.
Yeah. And when I heard it, all right, you know, like I said, I knew it was the truth, but I looked for a loophole.
Yeah.
I looked for a flaw in it. I searched for a flaw in it. I was like, man, it's flawless. It's flawless, you know?
Yep.
And what? Now what? That's just an increase in the faith.
Yep.
And still to this day, it's flawless.
Yep. Well, it gets to that point. Remember, you know, everything is sound, right? You can't find a flaw in the doctrine. And then what? What's next? What do? You just sit there. Oh, I believe. You one of those people that are on the comment boards. You know, I believe. You know, specifically the men, right? Able-bodied men. You put you do the work, whatever that ability that the Lord gives you. You know, and you know, not everybody's gonna be a teacher. We understand that. But how are you contributing to the ministry, right? There's a way to show forth your works.
Mm-hmm. I got a quick piece of Psalm 116:10. I believe, therefore have I spoken.
Yep, and that's the ultimate form. One of the ultimate forms of belief, right? Is to speak.
Yep.
Because what does it say? We're made a spectacle, right? It's not easy. It's not really easy for a lot of people, especially if you're not even used to talking publicly. You know, but you know, you want Jake has a certain image that they want to be seen in. You know, you don't want to be seen as somebody who's foolish and things like that. You know, that's just the nature of man. But understanding that's what comes with it. You're going to be looked at as foolish. You're going to be looked at as you're a bug out. You're going to be looked at as you're hateful.
Yeah, you're going to be defamed, slandered.
Yeah, you're going to be slandered. You know, you're the evil guy. Well, they slandered Yahushua.
That's right.
You know, but that's what just comes with it.
It says, I believe, therefore have I spoken.
Yep.
I was greatly afflicted.
Yep. But again, the point is with that belief comes a work, right? And whatever that, that ability or whatever that talent is given unto you, well, you're supposed to exercise it. You're supposed to show forth that work. You know, whether it's speaking, whether it's giving alms, right? You know, you have some sisters out there that make garments, whatever the case may be.
Whatever your gift is.
Do it.
For the ministry.
That's the point. That's how you show forth your faith.
Yep. Whatever your gift is, man, you'll help. Be a help. You got more Ephesians 2?
Yeah. That was it on it?
Yeah, that was Psalm 116.
Yeah, this is back in Ephesians 2 and 9. It says, not of works, lest any man should boast.
Yeah, not of works, lest any man should boast.
Mm-hmm.
See? And human flesh is not going to be able to boast in the sight of the Lord. All right? Because if it was of works, you would be able to say you saved yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, man, it's through faith. It's through faith in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Okay? And not of works. All right, any man should boast, be puffed up and proud. I saved myself.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a balance to it, You can't even do any of the works unless the Lord allows you anyways.
Yep. Yeah.
Is the last one that says, for we are his workmanship, created in Hamashiach Yahushai unto good works.
Mm-hmm. It's a good works.
See?
Yep, it's a good works. And see, our people don't even know what good and evil is.
Yeah.
All right, and they judge good and evil. All right, through the ruler of the so-called white man, by the ruler of the so-called white man, by the measuring of the so-called white man. I'm gonna say. You know.
Yep. It says, "For we are His workmanship, created in Hamashiach Yahushai unto good works, which the Most High hath before ordained that we should walk in them."
Yep, which the Most High before ordained that we should walk in them. So, hey, yeah, you were preordained, all right, to hear this word, believe it, all right, and be active.
Yep, exactly.
You know, to walk in the Spirit. You know, going back to the faith, just being a gift from the Heavenly Father, bestowed upon His elect. Okay. Back in Romans 10.
And, you know, if I could say this too, you know, this is what completes it, right? Because at the beginning, it was all about the law, the works. There was no faith mixed with it, right? No fear. You know, Jake just going with the motions, but ultimately not going off, really. You know, eventually, Jake went off. But now we have the faith mixed with the works, that it all goes hand in hand, right? With the fear. So it keeps you on the right track, no matter what.
But just to show you how full circle the Heavenly Father is, Abraham. All right, how did he become a friend of the Most High? Was it because of the works? Like, oh, he in there putting the works for me. Oh, he's my friend. No, it was faith.
Yeah.
All right, then he put in the works. All right, he made a great leap of faith. All right, to put in the works. You know, but the promise, how the promise was received and the promise was given unto him, it's really given through faith and works. All right, so how we gonna enter into the rest? How we gonna receive the promise? Faith, follow with and combine with works.
Yep.
Yeah, somebody want to go back to this?
Oh, you can go back to that. We still got more on Hebrews 11, right?
Oh yeah, that's the 5th chapter, and then James 2.
Yeah,
then,
I got that.
You know, we gotta wrap it up, but it's more to hit too. You know.
Yep.
Romans 10 and 16. But they have not all obeyed the gospel, for Isaiah saith, "Lord, who have believed our report?" So then faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of the Most High.
So that's how faith comes, right? You got to hear it, right? That's why the Lord, again, He has an order to things. That's why He has His men out there on the highways and hedges, right? That's why the apostles are always adamant, all right, about pushing the lessons, right? Because you never know who is listening. Well, we know for sure that the elect are going to hear some way, somehow, right? So we just got to do our part in pushing the word.
Yep. Hey, Yahushua, St. John, that's the 21st chapter. So if you love me, feed my sheep, feed my lamb. If you love me, do the work. It says, last verse 18, but I say, have they not heard? And there's a question mark there. We read Hebrews, the 4th chapter. The gospel is preached to us as well as unto them. So they have heard. Everybody know about the Israelites. It says, but I say, have they not heard? Yes, verily their sound went into all the earth, and their words until the end of the world.
Yep. So at the end of the day, nobody has an excuse.
Right, yeah.
Right? You've all heard. And, you know, it's whether you heard and then you believed and you took that step forward, right? You have works to go with it. Or you just disregard and you have no belief.
Yeah, you heard and you doubted.
Yep.
You know? Let me go back to, I'll go back to Hebrews 11.
Yeah.
It's back in Hebrews 11 and 1. It says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. For by it the elders obtained a good report.
Yep.
That's what I tell you in the book of Sirach. I believe that's Sirach 44 and let me read it just real quick. Sirach 44 and 1. All right, 144. Let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begot us.
Yep.
All right, why are they famous men? Why they have a good report? Because they're going to go through a list. You can read 44 and 45. All right, these are our faithful forefathers. You know? So through faith, it goes into their works. All right? But through faith, you know, those works were done. And what? They got a good report.
Yep.
So let us now praise famous men. You don't disrespect them. All right, as the ISUPK disrespect John the Baptist, ISUPK blatantly disrespected Messiah, King Moses. Moses was the king, the first king of Israel. They disrespected Moses, saying he fell out the truth. That's disrespectful, man.
Yeah, because, you know, like when we read about, you know, men of the Lord, right? Prophets, you know, King David, King Solomon, right? That good report comes by them having faith, and then what does it do? It has them do the right thing, right?
It works.
Now, of course, being men in this flesh, you know, we read about how they went off, but what? You know, the Lord had favor, right? But their report is what? You know, a long list of good things that they did.
That's right. That's right.
So again, faith and works go hand in hand.
You can't have one without the other.
Nope.
It says, for by it the elders obtained a good report. Through faith, we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of the Most High. So the things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. NLT reads, by faith we understand that the entire universe was formed at the Most High's command. That what we now see did not come from anything that can be seen.
Yeah. You know, the earth made by elements, right? You can't see the elements. You know, but hey, the Lord had it. What He had given that the blueprint, so to speak, to Yahushua and the elect, and they created everything. They were able to grab certain elements, put them together, and this is what you see here.
Right.
This whole earth.
It was no fucking Big Bang Theory.
Well, like, you know, we breathe right now. Oxygen. You can't see oxygen, but we know we're breathing it, right? We're breathing something.
Yeah, well, the wind.
Yeah.
You can't see it, but hey, I guarantee you, all right, you live in Chicago at that time of the year,
you're going to feel it.
You're going to feel it. Verse 4, by faith Abel offered unto the Most High a more excellent sacrifice than Cain. All right, that was works that Abel put in.
Exactly.
It says by which.
Yeah, because what did he say? I'm going to offer. All right, the meat offering, but didn't do it. You know, no, he actually offered it. There's a work behind that faith.
It says by faith Abel offered unto the Most High a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous. The Most High testifying of his gifts, and by it he being dead yet speaketh. By faith Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found because the Most High had translated him. For before his translation, he had this testimony that he pleased the Most High. All right? In NLT, I'm going to read that one in NLT too. It says, it was by faith that Enoch was taken up to heaven without dying. He disappeared because the Most High took him. For before he was taken up, he was known as a person who pleased the Most High. All right? So before he was taken up, he was one who was putting in the work.
Yep.
Verse 6, but without faith, it is impossible to please him.
Yep. Well, Yahushua, right? Hey, this who the Lord was well pleased in. He was perfect, right?
Right.
So what did that mean? He followed the law perfectly. He had works that made him perfect.
Yep.
Just like Job, you know, Job was seen as perfect.
Yeah, who was sheweth evil. Yeah.
There's a faith, right? There's an action behind that.
Right.
It's not just I have faith, right? I say I have faith. That's it. No, you have an action that goes behind it.
It says, without faith, it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to the Most High must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him.
Yeah, that's where it starts, right? You have to believe that he exists.
Yep.
You know, once that belief is downloaded into you that he exists, all right, then you get to learn more and more about what pleases him. What do? You try and do to the best of your ability what pleases him.
Yeah, I'm going to read down through Abraham. This verse 7. By faith, Noah being warned of the Most High of things not seen as yet, just as us, all right, the warning. And see, even in these times now, all right, see, back in that time, they looked at Noah probably crazier than they look at us. All right, because it had never rained before.
Yeah.
You know, the earth was water from the dew that comes up from the earth. So they looked at him as a madman over 120 years of prophesying the rain.
Yeah.
But they look at us as crazy, talking about thermonuclear war. Well, not so crazy, no more.
But the nukes are already here.
The nukes are already here.
They're actually a thing in the world, this world.
Yeah. Atomic bombs have been dropped before, and the nukes are a thing. You know? It says, by faith, Noah being warned of the Most High of things not seen as yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to the saving of his house. That's work.
Yeah, that's a work.
Yeah, that's a work. Yeah, we're preparing a spiritual ark for the saving of our house.
Yeah. You know, what does that entail, right? So we believe, right? Now what? We get into reading, right? We get into prayer. We get into fasting. We get into pushing the word, right? Pushing the lessons, going out there to the highways and hedges.
Brotherly love,
right? You know, amongst you know, a lot of other things that entail what works. You know, going into not following the law, eating
clean.
Yeah, eating clean, not eating pork, right? Not eating shrimp, not shaving your beard. You know, all these are works to go along with your faith.
Yeah, not committing adultery. You know, no idol worshiping. All right, doing your best to rest on the Sabbath if you're able. All right, it's plenty of work to be done.
Yeah,
all type of works, man. Just obedience.
Yeah.
It says, by the which he condemned the world and became heir of the righteousness which is by faith. That's the same stead we in. condemning the world. All right, to be heirs with Hamashiach Yahushua. All right, through faith. Verse 8, by faith Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed and went out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Not knowing whither he went. So he was walking by faith.
Walking by faith, not by sight. Right? But he actually put those steps in. Exactly. You know, he didn't just say, oh, okay, yeah, the Lord gonna do it. Let me just sit in my house.
Right.
You know, let me just type on the keyboard. You know?
By faith he sojourned in the land of promise, as in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. For he looked for a city which hath foundations, whose builder and maker is the Most High. You know? And that's what, hey, he got that promise for us. All right, we were in the same stead as Abraham. Our father was Gentiles.
Yep.
Was Gentile, and we had to put off the tradition we knew. All right? And we sojourning now.
Yep, that's it.
You know?
We believe.
We believe.
Why we believe in the promise?
Hoping and waiting, all right, hoping and expecting, all right, for the Most High to establish the kingdom. Okay?
Yep.
That was it on that.
That was it on that. I'll grab James 2, and I'll start at verse 14.
Okay.
It says, what doth it profit, my brethren, though a man say he have faith and have not works?
Well, like you was going into, just sitting in front of the TV, the computer, typing, and putting no works in.
Yeah.
Or just saying, oh, I'm faithful. I believe.
Yeah.
Hebrew Israelites, I believe. But you ain't got no works?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, like these Christians, you know, they say they believe. What are they doing?
Look at the works they putting in.
Yeah.
Left-handed.
Their Christmas trees up every year.
Yep.
Is that a work?
Yeah, totally defiled diet.
Yeah.
You know, so much more. You know, you'll bring it up to a Christian man that the letter J didn't come out to it like the 15th century. Okay, you'll go into it with them. All right, and they'll still say, oh, that's what it says. That's what it says. But do you believe he actually walked the earth? Yeah, I believe. What color was he? Oh, it don't matter to me if he was black, purple, or green. All right, you believe he walked the earth? It don't matter what he looked like. All right, but his name. Okay, you going to Acts 4 and 12 about salvation coming through the name. Okay, if the letter J wasn't around when he walked the earth, what was his name? You know, which goes to show you they're complete hypocrites. They're complete actors.
Yeah, they can't put it together.
Yeah.
It says, can faith save him? If a brother or
there's a question mark there. All right, can faith save him without works? No.
Yep, it says, if a brother or sister be naked and destitute of daily food, and one of you say unto them, depart in peace, be warmed and filled, notwithstanding you give them not those things which are needful to the body, what does it profit?
Yeah, so if you see one of your fellow brethren or fellow believer destitute and you just shun them,
yeah.
All right, say, yeah, go be warm. It's cold out, but yeah, go be warm.
Yeah.
When you can actually put in the work to bring them in, all right, and give them shelter, or put in the work to give them a coat.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Which is brotherly love.
Which is brotherly love.
Well, you just have faith. Have faith. Which, you know, spiritual power is going to come, but there's a time and place for that, right? But hey, there's certain works that, you know, just should be common sense.
Yeah.
But hey,
since it's not so common.
Yep.
Especially when it comes to the tribes.
Yep. It says, notwithstanding you give them not those things which are needful to the body, what doth it profit? Even so, faith, if it have not works, is dead being alone.
Yeah, it's null and void. Faith without works is dead. It's null and void. All right? It's nothing.
Yea, a man may say, thou hast faith, and I have works. Show me thy faith without thy works.
You can't. You can't. Go ahead.
And I will show you thee my faith by my works.
Yeah, we're going to show you how it's done through the Spirit of power. We're going to show you true faith.
Yep.
By the works.
Proving that faith is an action. You know, there's going to be an action behind that faith.
Yeah. It's a motivator. It's a mover. All right, what they got? They got kinetic energy and potential energy.
Yeah.
You know, you got to put it into motion.
Yeah. It says, thou believest that there is one God, thou doest well. The devils also believe and tremble. But wilt thou know, O vain man, that faith without works is dead? Was not Abraham our father justified by works when he had offered Isaac his son upon the altar.
Yeah, go up a little more. Go back to 19.
Yep. Back in James 2:19, it says, "Thou believest that there is one power."
Yeah, we believe that. Shema Yasharala Yahweh Allahai now Yahweh Chud. Hear, O Israel, our power is one. Okay, and He's the only power. Go ahead.
It says, "Thou believest that there is one power. Thou doest well. The devils also believe and tremble."
Yeah, because the elites know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, no matter what they push out to the people, all right, you know, they prayed to the Baphomet and got Satan with them. All right, they know about the Heavenly Father. They know about Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. They know about the chariots. All right, but them being Satan, adversarial, the devil, set to deceive. All right, they're gonna try to suppress it. They're gonna try to deny it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but them demons know. All right, hey, and the demons that attack us, all right, your sleep or in your daily life, okay, they know too. The demons that's on these people, they know too. A lot of times that's why they go to aggravate and only fuck with us.
Yep.
You know? Go ahead.
Well, even like, you know, you go into the Satan, right?
Mm-hmm.
He does exactly what the Heavenly Father commands perfectly, just on the left-hand side.
He's in order.
Yep. So there's a work that he does, right? So we got a work to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It says,
oh yeah, it's all the messengers, you know, of the spiritual world, man. They all working.
mm-hmm.
They all working, man. It's time for you to work, O Lord Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, because they have made void their law.
Yeah.
That's the spirit. I got a lesson set in my mind, man, and how we delight, in we delight in the works that our brethren put in, you know, pertaining to judgment. All right, our brethren being celestial messengers, you know, but they working. Go ahead.
It says the devils also believe in trouble, but wilt thou know, O vain man, that faith without works is dead?
Yep.
Was not Abraham our father justified by works when he had offered Isaac his son upon the altar?
Yep. But what was that done through? All right, through faith.
Exactly.
Yep.
It says, "Seest thou how faith wrought with his works, and by works was faith made perfect?"
Woo. I mean, we're supposed to come be perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect.
Yep.
Okay? So by works, mixed with that, by works was his faith made perfect.
Yep.
Same with us, man. Faith being made perfect through works.
Yep. It says, and the scripture was fulfilled, which saith, Abraham believed the Most High, and it was imputed unto him for righteousness, and he was called the friend of the Most High. You see then how that by works a man is justified, and not by faith only.
See, by works a man is justified, not by faith only. All right, because going back to Romans the 14th chapter with the brother read, whatsoever is not done in faith is sin. So you can call yourself putting in the work. Let's say you just putting in the work. Look at these guys. They putting in the work because they want fame. They want clout. They ain't putting in the work through faith. They want to do all the debates. All right, and put these big titles on their videos: slave, Israelite, slave, Jewish rabbi in Charlotte, North Carolina, or whatever. You know what I mean? Doing it for the praises of men. You know what I mean? That's not a faith. Okay, it's not a faith, man. So that work ain't about shit.
It's vain.
It's vain.
They're still working though.
Yep. For
and,
not.
Yeah, and what do? They have a reward here, right? But see, we're working, Lord's will for that reward that's eternal.
Yep. And really, if you're working for a reward here, that's just a consolation prize.
Yeah, that's
prize.
it. Yeah.
That's going to be burned up.
Exactly. It says, likewise also was not Rahab the harlot justified by works when she had received the messengers and had sent them out another way. For as the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without works is dead also.
Yeah, so a body, all right, without a spirit is dead. Just like when you die, you lose 21 grams. All right, so a body without a spirit is basically just a shell.
That's it. Well, what does it do? It's just limp, right?
It's dead.
Yeah,
it's cold.
There's no life in it.
Yep.
It doesn't do anything. It just eventually it decays.
Yep. It says, so faith without works is dead also. So compare the two.
Yep.
All right. So if you say you got faith, you ain't putting in no work, then you just a body with no soul. You got anything else?
Yeah, I got one more.
What you got? 2 Ezra 9?
Yeah.
That's a spirit. Yeah.
Yeah, this is 2 Ezra 9, straight to the point, verse 7. It says, and everyone that shall be saved.
Yep. Because everyone that shall be saved. No one's saved yet. Okay. No one's saved yet. Because it's a lot of death. All right, coming to the planet Earth. All right, Most High gonna start taking these demons out, these demonic ass people out in great number. All right.
It says, and everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby you have believed.
Yep, by his works and by faith, whereby you have believed. So that's what it takes for salvation.
Finishing off,
yep.
It says, shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning.
Yeah, so the Heavenly Father, He gonna keep the apple of His eye. He gonna keep His chosen. He gonna keep those who believe and then putting in works in His name.
Yep.
All right, because if you putting in the works, what name are you working in? Who are you laboring for? You know, we labor for Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Whose name is on the check, so to speak? Who signs the check?
Yep.
Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. You know? So that work you put in, all right, for the so-called Jew who signs your check, all right, go 10 times way harder than that for the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai.
Yep.
I got one more I want to read. You can make your points a lot.
Yeah, I was just saying, and you know, if you're new, right, you just heard the word, right? It starts with faith, but then works. Then what? Works have to follow. Or that's the progression. We just read it. It makes everything perfect, right? It completes it.
Habakkuk 2:4. I just want the latter part of the verse. I'm going to read the beginning. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith.
Yep. Esau's not right? We know that who that's talking about.
We know he carnal as hell.
Yep. But what? It says the just shall live by faith. Right? And that's the elect. You know? And again, we just read it. The elect are going to have the faith and the works to go with it.
Yep. And you know what else? The elect is going to praise his holy name.
That's it.
Barak Yahweh.
Barak Yahweh.
Barak Shai.
Barak Shai.
Barak Yahweh.
Barak Yahweh.
Barak Shai.
Barak Shai.
Barak Yahweh.
Barak Yahweh.
Barak Shai.
Barak Shai.
All praise, honor, and glory goes to
Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem HaKadosh.
The honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone, teaching real well. Shalom to the faithful.
Shalom.